This is the brand new full frame 20-70mm f4 lens from Sony, and it is—
Wait, sorry to interrupt. I think you said 20-70 instead of 24-70.
No mistake. This is actually a 20-70mm lens.
Seriously? But it looks so small, and you think it would be bigger if it was a wider range than a 24-70.
Yeah, they definitely made it super small and super light. You want to see?
Wow, this is seriously tiny. How does it perform?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to make a video about it, so if you just keep rolling, you'll kind of find out.
Oh yeah, my bad, man.
I totally hear you. It is exciting. You still rolling?
We're still rolling.
This is still the new full-frame 20-70mm f4G lens from Sony, and in my opinion, this is a very exciting option for anyone looking for an all-around lens for their Sony system. With the typical 24-70 or 28-70, I often find that I'm missing out on opportunities at that wide end, especially when I'm filming myself or if I'm in a tight space. And then when you look at a 16-35, you're obviously limited by how far you can go on the long end. So by taking that mid-range zoom and turning the 24 or 28mm wide end to 20mm, the question is, do we now have the perfect desert island lens? In this video, we're going to talk about the size, weight, and price of this lens, comparing a little bit to the G Master version 2 24-70, as well as the Sigma 24-70. We'll talk build quality and functionality. I'll give you my personal thoughts on who I think this lens is for and how it performs. And of course, we're going to take a practical look at the image quality of this lens, starting off with a little video that I put together so that you can see it for yourself. Please enjoy. The following segment was filmed entirely on the Sony 20-70 f4G lens and the Sony Alpha 7 IV.
Counting days since my love up and got lost on me. And every breath that I've been taking since you left feels like a waste on me. I've been holding on to hope that you'll come back when you can find some peace. Cause every word that I've heard spoken since you left feels like a hollow street. I've been told to get you off my mind, but I hope I never lose the bruises that you left behind. Oh my Lord, I need you by my side. There must be something in the water, cause every day it's getting colder. And if only I could hold you, you'd keep my head from going under. There must be something in the water, 'cause every day it's getting colder. And if only I could hold you, you'd keep my head from going under.
Now, you might be thinking that music sounded a lot like Louis Capaldi, and I've got good news for you. You're absolutely correct. At which point you might be thinking, Dunna, this is YouTube? How are you allowed to use mainstream music without being demonetized? That, my friend, is because I used Licked to get all the music for this video. Licked is a music licensing platform with an absolutely massive catalog for creators. Not only do you get access to 100,000 stock tracks for any situation, but you can also license any of their 1.1 million mainstream tracks available from artists like Bruno Mars, Lizzo, Charlie Puth, The Offspring, Sean Paul. It's kind of ridiculous how many options they have. The Licked site has helpful search functions like sorting tracks by popularity on Spotify or YouTube, as well as filters for genre, tempo, or even depending on which platform you're planning to publish to. Not to mention, they have hundreds of curated playlists to help you find what you're looking for as well. Being able to use popular music on your videos can increase engagement and positive sentiment when your viewers recognize music that they know, and you still get to keep all of your revenue as your channel grows. So sign up for Licked with the link in the description for 14 days of free stock music and 50% off your first mainstream chart track. Huge thank you to Licked for sponsoring this video.
One of the standout features of the 20-70 beyond just the wide range is the size, weight, and price of it. The 20-70 is 99mm long, whereas the G Master version 2 24-70 is 120, and the Sigma 24-70 is 123mm long. This lens has a 72mm thread, whereas both of those other ones have an 82mm, so this one has a smaller diameter as well. And the 20-70 is only 488 grams compared to the G Master version 2 695, and the Sigma coming in at 835 grams. And to top it all off, the 20-70 is coming in at $10.99 US or $14.99 Canadian, which is the same price as the Sigma, but it's less than half the price of the Sony G Master version 2, which comes in at $22.99 US or $29.99 Canadian. As far as build quality and functionality goes, the 20-70 feels great in the hand. It's made of solid materials, and we've got a nice rubbery material on both the zoom and focus rings. We've also got a great grippy texture on there as well, so it won't slip when you're trying to use it. There are 2 customizable buttons on there, as well as the autofocus manual focus toggle switch. And like a lot of newer Sony lenses, we've got the full iris ring that you can declick if you want it, and you can lock it in either the mode where the camera body controls it, or you control it from the lens itself. It is external zooming, so the barrel extends when you zoom it out, but it is nice and smooth to use, and the focus when you're manually focusing is linear, which is really nice. Personally, I'd love to have a little bit more resistance on my manual focus, but that's just me getting really picky, and it is really nice and smooth. Now, of course, Sony says that it's dust and moisture resistant, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's like waterproof or anything like that, but we actually got a little bit more on what that means in this case. Sony said that all seams are sealed, buttons and switches have rubber gaskets, and a rubber ring seals the lens mount. So we have a little bit more clarity on what dust and moisture resistant means on this lens. And there's a coating on the front element so that it repels water and oil, and it makes it easier to clean up any kind of fingerprints or anything that you might get on there. Inside the lens, we have 2 of their XD linear motors for focusing, which is absolutely awesome. It means that it's fast, it's accurate, and it's basically silent. My experience with autofocus on this lens has been excellent, especially when paired with the new A7R5 and the new autofocus functions that we have there. Focus breathing with this lens is fairly minimal straight out of the box, but you can also pair it with some of Sony's newer cameras that have focus breathing compensation. Minimum focusing distance on this lens is about 25 centimeters at the short end and 30 centimeters at the long end, which is kind of just shy of 10 inches. And while this lens is not perfectly parfocal, it does have very minimal focus shifting while you're zooming. For image quality, no surprise here, but Sony has done an incredible job. The color and the contrast look really nice. It matches really nicely with any other Sony lenses that I've used. That sharpness is something that really jumped out at me, especially for a less expensive lens than some of the other options out there. I was quite impressed by that. We do have a little bit of vignetting wide open at f4, but that can be fixed right in camera with the built-in compensation. I didn't have any big issues with fringing in high contrast areas, and what little was there was easy to fix. I also noticed very little distortion on this lens, but for some reason it wouldn't actually let me turn distortion compensation off. It seemed to be locked in the auto position. I'm not sure if that means that there's distortion compensation somehow built into the lens or something like that, but it looked good to me. Real quick update on that, I got to do some more testing for the distortion, and there is definitely a ton of it in there once you can get a raw photo and have it with no distortion correction on. But again, it's super easy to fix that in camera or in your photo editor of choice. Overall, I thought the image quality on this lens was super solid for landscape or detail shots or people, basically anything. I mean, it's an all-around lens, right? So as far as my thoughts on this lens and who I think it's for, I really think this is a great option as a kit lens for anyone who's looking for that one lens that can do a little bit of everything. Now, whether that means you're just starting out in the Sony full frame world and you're only gonna have this one lens, or if you just want situations where you only have to bring one lens out with you. For example, if you're hiking up a mountain or something along those lines, maybe you don't want to be lugging a whole bunch of options around, or if you're traveling and you don't want to be carrying an entire kit with you, this is a great option. There are very few options that have this useful of a range. Like I said before, I often find myself with 24 or 28 just feeling like I wish I had something a little bit wider, and usually that means that I'm carrying around an extra lens to fill that, so having that all built into one lens is amazing. As far as video goes, I think this lens performs really great. Those XD linear motors inside are silent and fast and smooth. The only real downside that I found while I was using this lens is the fact that it's an f4, and in some low light situations I found myself wanting to be able to crank my aperture just a little bit to get that extra stop of light. But as always, I want to hear what you think. Do you think that the new 20-70 is the new best all-around lens, the one lens you could throw in your bag? Leave a comment down below, and on your way down there, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.